Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing great. So, Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising just dropped update 2.30, and there's a ton to unpack here. This one feels like a mix between a character launch celebration and a ranked system refresh, with a few quality of life touches that make a real difference if you play regularly. I've been checking out all the details, and honestly, this update feels like one of those that's going to shift the mood of the game, not just the meta. So let's talk through what's actually changing, what it means for you, whether you're grinding ranked, chilling in lobbies, or just collecting cosmetics, and maybe what you should keep an eye on going forward. First off, the big highlight, Meg is finally here. She comes paired with Mari, which is cool since it keeps that duo dynamic from the main Granblue series. And right away, she feels like one of those characters who's got personality built into every move. You can tell Arxis and Cygames put effort into making her stand out. Her animations, the sound design, and the way she moves across the screen, it all feels distinct. She's got this confident, playful energy, but her kit doesn't feel like a joke character at all. From the footage and the early hands-on, she looks like she can zone, but she's also got solid rushdown potential. The interesting part is how Mari seems to support her with moves that extend combos or apply pressure, which opens up new setups if you're creative in the lab. Now, as for the content that comes with her, it's actually a pretty generous bundle. You get her colors from 5 through 21, plus the weapon skins, new badges and trophies, stickers, figure studio poses, and even a crew icon. Basically, if you're the kind of player who likes to personalize your profile and style out your character roster, you'll have a ton to mess around with here. Meg also shows up in arcade and survival mode as an opponent, which is nice because you can practice against her AI before dealing with human players online. And yes, she's available both through the Character Pass 2 and as a standalone purchase, which is $8 if you want just her. But the biggest thing outside of Meg herself is definitely the ranked system update. This one's a big change, and it's something that a lot of competitive players have been asking for. The developers added new Master tier ranks, Silver and Gold Master, which helps break up that top end of the ladder. Before this, once you hit Master, it could feel kind of flat. Everyone was just thrown together, whether you were barely qualifying or one of the absolute best. Now, there's more granularity, so you can actually see progress again, and the matchmaker can work with more nuance. It's kind of like getting extra checkpoints for the elite crowd, which should make the grind feel more rewarding and less like a wall. Another neat tweak that I think a lot of people will appreciate is how matchmaking information is presented. You know how before you just get a color code representing skill? They've changed that up completely. Now, instead of vague colors, you'll see icons that actually tell you the skill relationship between you and your opponent. Orange means your opponent's ranked higher, green means you're about even, and blue means they're lower than you. It's such a small detail on paper, but in practice, it gives way more context for what to expect in a match. It's also a nice way to manage expectations. Like if you see that orange icon and get outplayed, it feels less frustrating because you know they were ranked higher. And on the flip side, if you beat them, it feels extra good because you know you just took down someone who's technically above your level. What's cool too is that these skill indicators don't just pull from ranked matches. They also look at your history in casuals, lobbies, and room matches, so it's more holistic. Now, on the more casual side, Granblue's has had its time limit extended, which is great because it means you can keep earning points for longer. The devs also mentioned that the point system will reset with the next update, which will be version 2.40, and that's when they'll bring in new rewards. So if you've been slacking on finishing your current event progress, now's your window to wrap it up. This kind of seasonal rhythm they're building with Granblue's is smart. It gives people a reason to come back regularly, even if they're not into hardcore ranked climbing. It's like the fun community event side of GBVSR, and it looks like they're leaning more into that going forward. And speaking of rewards and content, the store and Rupee shop got some nice additions with this update too. Meg's bundle obviously got added, but what's really cool is that they're bringing back a bunch of older Battle Pass Round 5 rewards, stuff like new colors, weapon skins, card designs, and even a couple of music tracks. That's a great move for players who joined later or just missed out on previous seasons. FOMO in fighting games can be brutal. Sometimes you just start too late and there's no way to catch up on older cosmetics. But Cygames is doing the opposite here. They're reintroducing past stuff so more people can have access to it. And that's honestly how it should be. Fighting games live or die by how active their communities are. So giving everyone more ways to personalize their game just keeps engagement up. On the technical side, a few fixes rolled out too. They patched a sound issue that happened during online lobby matches on Steam, which some players had been complaining about for a while. They adjusted Versia's voice lines for her super skybound art, corrected a few mistakes in the move lists and text for Vera and other characters, and fixed the color display issue that happened when you used Lunalu with a randomized weapon skin. Localization also got another polished pass across English, French, German, Spanish, and Brazilian Portuguese, which is great for accessibility. It's one of those behind-the-scenes touches that might not sound flashy, but it makes the overall experience smoother for a global audience. Now, back to Meg for a second, because I think she's going to be a really interesting character for the meta. From what's shown, she's got these medium-range tools that can control space, but also has ways to cut pressure up close if she gets in. The way Mari assists her opens some creative combo routes and maybe even some pseudo set play depending on how you use her positioning. She's not just another rushdown or zoner. They blended both in a way that could make her really versatile. I could see her appealing to players who like to play footsies, but also want that occasional all-in pressure burst. It's too early to call where she'll land on the tier list, but if you're planning to pick her up, definitely spend some time figuring out her anti-airs and what her fastest normals are, because those are going to make or break her in matchups against characters like Nier or Vasaraga. If you're just getting into the game or thinking of returning, this update actually feels like a great re-entry point. The ranked adjustments mean you're going to match with more appropriate opponents more often, and that makes learning so much less stressful. Plus, the extended event timing gives you more breathing room to experiment and enjoy other parts of the game instead of feeling pressured to grind non-stop. And honestly, the way they're handling communication around these updates has been solid too. They're clear about what's next, like hinting that 2.40 will bring new rewards and probably more system tweaks. I think it's also worth saying that GBVSR has been steadily refining its identity since launch. It's moved past the early phase where people were unsure about the monetization or the pacing of balance patches. Now it's starting to feel consistent. Updates come regularly, communication's steady, and the game's overall polish keeps improving. This one, especially with the rank revamp and the skill gap icons, feels like the team really listened to community feedback. Players have been asking for more transparency in matchmaking for a while, and they actually delivered it in a clean, easy-to-read way. Another subtle win with this update is that it rewards both competitive and casual players in meaningful ways. Meg gives the hardcore players something new to master. Ranked changes refine the climb, Granblue keeps casuals engaged, and the shop refresh gives collectors something to do. It's a well-balanced update in that sense. No single part of the community gets ignored. That's not easy to pull off, especially in a game that juggles both arcade depth and accessibility. I also like how they're starting to bridge the gap between offline and online experiences more fluidly. The AI behavior updates in modes like arcade and survival mean you can actually practice setups that translate better to real matches, which makes solo play more valuable. It's a small thing, but if you're the kind of player who doesn't always want to go online after work or late at night, being able to grind in a mode that still teaches you something is a plus. And man, the presentation with Meg's release is slick. Her colors pop, her theme music is catchy, and her animations are packed with personality.